Welcome into our Ruakaka preview here on the Punters Lounge. Jason Tan, track conditions?
As we record this, Aidan, on early Friday afternoon, a dead 5, and you'd expect an improving track given the weather forecast.
Let's get through the card there on Cambridge Stud Northland Breeders' Stakes Day. And the first of the program is the Tavistock at Cambridge Stud Maiden. Favourite here is Yulong Express at 340, actually 320 about Chapeau, 450 Power and Strength, and Pacific at 580, Jason.
Not a straightforward race, but I liked Power of Strength and the form that it brings to it. Chapeau will run well from the draw. Pacific I thought was okay late, but Power of Strength, the horse that I'd be considering to win the first.
Okay, I was with Chapeau. I thought it would be sharper for that first up run. On to the second, this one, the Asimore at Cambridge Stud, another maiden for the 3-year-olds, this one over the 1400, and 450 Call Me Murphy, 480 for Sahar, $6 about Imelda Mary, who I know you like, Jason.
Oh, look, she's drawn well to get a beautifully soft run. For some reason, a jockey isn't listed on that market there. Bridget Grills was the jockey that I read, so I don't know whether something's changed, but Bridget Grills was certainly booked earlier on in the week. Look, if she gets any sort of luck, she's going to go close to breaking maidens, Imelda Mary. I
was really impressed by Sahar at the trials, and I thought looked to be a good bet. Let's move you on to the third. This one, the Patrons Trophy over the 1200 metres. Speed Machine Prom Queen at 210 and 110, 360 about Ricky Tiki Tabby, 550 Tiptronic.
And I think she'll be ridden to be the speed machine that she is, Aidan. And if she comes back remotely like she's shown herself to the level that she's shown in the past, then I think she'll win the race.
Okay, on with her as well. Prom Queen. Let's move you on to the fourth. This one, the Philpott Air Freight 2100. Interesting race this, rating 65 gallopers here. A few changing back in distance and or up in distance and back in grade. $3 Transformer, Los Angeles 450, 165. $6 about Rough Cut, 620 for Tabling. Anything you like here?
Look, if Transformer runs up to what it did last time, and it should get a similar sort of lead, then how do they beat Transformer? That's the question. Rough Cut comes back in grade and should also get a forward sitting. I thought a 1/3 play at that price is not a bad option, but yeah, I know you've got Transformer to win and no knock on that. Look, going to be very hard to run down off what he did last time.
Oh, absolutely. I thought this the map special of the day. Maps to lead, no pace in the race, looks to be very well placed indeed. On to race 5, this one, the Gibbons Harris Dowd 1200, and the market for this shows Sister Beale with good support, 420, despite drawing out there in barrier 11. One Baker Street at 3 and 135 was very good in winning last prep. Silver Cloud at 680, getting 10s about a few here. Danger D Felix 4 as well. What do you like in this one, Jason?
Well, One Baker Street has come up short but is drawn to bounce and really run, and she might be too quick for them because a horse like Sister Beale, who I do like off trials and previous level, is going to be standing up a start and has a tricky draw, so that's why I played Sister Beale 1/3. I didn't quite expect One Baker Street to come up that short, but I respect that.
Yeah, so Sister Beale very good at the trials at Te Teko. I'm really basing a lot of my selections around maps with a real advantage to those on speed, and that's where I found One Baker Street in the first 4. Race 6 is the Logan Racing Ruakaka Cup, and this one here sees 460 about BT Junior. Is almost a newcomer to the circuit. 550 he's Cavalier, Major Tom 310, and $5 about Jake the Muss.
Look again, Major Tom down to 52 with Jasmine Fawcett's claims going to be hard to beat, but BT Junior opened at $5.50, it's down to $4.60. The blinkers go on, has an excellent third up record, so he's a horse that I'm happy to bet, even still at that $4.60 price.
It really flew home for that second placing at Te Aroha last time out. It does look poised in the Ruakaka Cup. I'm with him as well. On to race 7, this is a feature. This is the Cambridge Stud Northland Breeders' Stakes over the 1200 metres for the 3-year-old Sword of Osman, the Group 1 winner at 290, 125. Melt, the Group 1 runner-up at 220 and 110. Outside that, you're getting 750 for Madison County, who was very good at the trials. 12's about Riva Dirci, the best of the others.
And just noting that Chris Gibbs has indicated that both Pacific and Chapeau will start in the first race, the maiden. Sword of Osman, if Shafiq Roussoff can bounce him out and find the rail and the front like he's been doing with many of the Tiako runners, he's been very good from the barriers. If he does that, then it's going to be an interesting race with Melt and whether she'll be on his back or 3 back the inside and whether she's able to sprint past Sword of Osman. I noticed you've gone for a value selection in Riva Dirci.
I have. A horse who was a wide margin maiden winner, albeit on a heavy 10 track or heavy 11 track. It was something like 8.5 lengths. But at the play, weight it towards the place because obviously Sword of Osman and Melt are the Group 1 quality in the race. But I think we
It
might
was
see
an
something about
8.5
this
length margin under a throttle halt. Like, it wasn't let go at all.
Exactly.
Like, it was an incredible performance to the eye, wasn't it?
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see how they all come back as 3-year-olds. Obviously, Melt with the runs on the board in that.
It's extraordinary we haven't gone Melt, given what she's done over 1,000. But
yeah, well, she's actually my top selection in the race,
Sure.
but for the play, obviously, we're looking at this. Okay, let's move you on to the Whangarei. I love it here. And this one says Mongolian Conqueror at 370 and 150. 450 about Yearn, who was very good last prep. OCD at 650 and Richie McCaw.
Okay, so just looking at, I've waited for a few markets, and it appears as though Bridget Grills has been removed from these markets, much like Jason Waddell was a couple of weeks ago. So we're not sure of the reason why at the moment, but all will be revealed in the fullness of time. Richie McCawson, Rockabye Baby, to me, looked like good bets at prices in that race. He'll need some luck, Richie McCawson. He was probably going to get back in midfield.
I think they probably both will, won't they?
Rockabye Baby with the blinkers on, I think they'll have the intent to settle in the first 3 or 4 if they can.
Okay.
And if they are able to do that and be positive with her and have her switched on, then at her very best, that $10 is going to look like a spoil, I think.
Interesting race. I've gone with Richie McCaw as well. I thought the first up run was excellent. Second up with the right run, very hard to beat. On to the last of the 9 races, and this one, the Whangarei ITM, where Filau 360 and 150, one of those horses you just forgive from Te Rapa last time. It just got back and no hope in a front runner's race that day. We know the quality from last preparation. Likely leader in the race, final suggestion at $5 and $2. I thought was very good last time. Kachi at $8.50. You're getting a few others around that $11 mark. Actually, Icy Red wasn't too bad here last time.
Yeah, it was very good, Icy Red, and having spoken with Chris Gibbs, he's happy with the horse.
Pokerface now gets a run too,
yes,
so that will give him the
Caricature has come out, as you noted, the one scratched, and therefore Pokerface comes in and is drawn well.
My second pick in the race.
So I thought Final Suggestion should be able to find the front and will be very hard to run down on what he's done in recent starts. Just don't want him to be rated too slowly, at least an even tempo, because he was excellent. He was on pace, did a lot of work 3 wide last time, and all those others around him on pace dropped out and he was still there.
Agree.
He was there to be run down by Kachi and others and wasn't. So if he can find that, then he'll be hard to beat. I mean, Fila, you look at him and look, I like him as a horse, but he's probably going to be back last from that draw, so he's going to have to come round them all. Like, it's a big call second up to be taking that shorter price. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
on that.
one with Final Suggestion as well on the last. You got a best play of the day?
Probably Prom Queen.
Yeah.
All the reports are that Prom Queen has come out very well. I expect her to bounce and run, and if she does come back as suggested, then I think she'll be too quick for them.
Good luck with your bets at Ruakaka.